This is Heather from the Chronicles of Momma. I am so sorry that I am 4 minutes late here. I tell you, Facebook Live is certainly giving me the gears lately. I am going to have to dig into it a little bit more because it's changed its requirements and it's testing me. Happy Monday and welcome to Mental Health Mondays with Momma or Coach Heather. Um, Wow, what an amazing weekend. Lots and lots of warm weather. I hope that you were able to get out there and to enjoy the outdoors in a safe way and just soak up that vitamin D that is given to us by the sun. We all need it. It helps us feel better mentally, physically, all of those things. So, where are you at today? How are you feeling? What's happening in your world? What are some good things that you did this weekend? Please feel free to comment anywhere while we're talking here, and I can definitely answer any questions that you might have. The focus today on the Mental Health Mondays with Coach Heather is to just talk about. Let me back up for a minute. I had a really good session this weekend with a client, and it was a reminder to me that whenever we are in the thick of things and you are trying to get all of the pieces together or get all of the shit sorted out and sent away, we can lose ourselves. And, I know that for me, I spent a lot of years in that lost space just because I wasn't aware that I was really doing it. And as we talked this weekend, um, it was clear, and I've talked before about this, how we, ourselves are our worst critics. We definitely get into these states whenever we are reacting to situations or circumstances or how we're feeling, and we can get lost in that. And there's many ways that you can get lost in it. You can get lost in it with avoidance and just sinking away and being silent. You can get lost in it with the pure and utter overwhelm of the physical reactions that happen whenever our emotional and mental states are compromised or set off or triggered. You can become almost dangerously fearless as well. And that's something to recognize. I mean, if you're going out in the world and you are, just trying to get a reaction from everybody, take a look at that for a minute. Why are you doing these things? Is there a root to it? Is there something, that you have picked up along the way that this says, I had to be out there, bold, in your face, somewhat aggressive, confrontational in order for me to get what I want? These are all indicators that, you are working on a stressed internal system that has been triggered by some kind of experience that has put you in a trauma loop, whether you want to believe it or not. I want to give you a snapshot of, why we get into these situations. So you can be either non-responsive and totally back away from life and isolating yourself, or you can be out there and be so in people's face that it's like, oh my God, what is this person doing? Why are they acting like this? These are both very common ways in which you'll hear me say this: a wounded person, a person who's been traumatized, a person who has experienced or has a flawed, skewed sense of coping and mental loop that is playing out. I mean, in our heads, we all know this. When we're faced with a challenge, something wonderful or an experience that is less than, our brain signals so many things. And we've talked about the brain before and how there's three parts of it, and how our critter brain, which is stimulated by the experience, the emotions, and goes into that protection mode, can really give us a skewed mental, um, logical way of coping, rising up, and changing. So, what happens is that whenever we're all born, of course, we all know we are born into our families and we are totally dependent on them to create the world, the boundaries, and the confines of how we're going to grow and navigate. They teach us what we need to know, what we need to feel. As little children, we are very empathic, and we pick up on all of the signals because our body is so aware. So if you're in a loving and caring and compassionate home where you are given the opportunity to really truly flourish and wander with curiosity in a safe and secure environment, then clearly you are going to have an amazing ability to be resilient, to understand, to be compassionate, and to cope. If you're put into a situation where your life is challenged, or if maybe you don't have the guidance that shows you or lets you know that, yes, what's happening right now, that reaction to the action that you took is totally normal. It's okay. You don't have to be scared about that. Then you don't build up that natural, oh my God, this is trouble. This is trouble. So, this is what we need our parents to do in those beginning stages. Hello, Brad. To show us, to guide us, to help us, to mold us. Because again, we are so intuitive and empathic as little people. We're picking up on, it's like spidey senses on steroids. We can pick up anything and everything. You see this whenever a baby's making strange, or you walk into a room and a little child is either behind you, beside you. You can really gauge the essence of the room and the situation and environment by the way in which a child reacts. So for a lot of us, for a lot of years, I mean, parenting was about you follow this rule, you do this and you do that, and we had these guidelines. They were passed down from generations. It was what was expected as told by history, life experience, and the way our parents did things. We know now that we evolve as we go along, and that mistakes have been made, and some things you just never should have done. And we're, for the most part, as adults now of my age, really rectifying and trying to rectify those patterns, to change those things. I know that whenever I started having my children in my 20s, I mean, that's kind of, I was pretty bold and making big moves that bucked the norm of what parenting looked like. And I caught a lot of flack for that. But I look at my kids now and I am so glad that I was able to do that. And I was so glad that I was able, even in my unwell state, be able to express to them and give them the tools that they needed to understand and cope with a lot of what we're faced with today. So back to the whole, baby thing. So we're taught our patterns at this time. We are taught our coping at this time. And this goes right through until the age of around, 7 and 8, when our children really start to rise up, have a voice, and claim their independence in very powerful ways. Now, if you are met with a situation where that is not accepted, then of course you're going to, hi Sue, then of course you're going to have some issues and some resistance around navigating that loop, that mental loop, that story that we tell ourselves, and that story in which our mind tells us this is a safe environment or a non-safe environment, or, danger, danger, Will Robinson get out kind of thing. So, I'm telling you this because I want you to get an idea of how the mechanics of all of this work, and how we can be in a place where we can really be impacted by the stories we've learned and we've told. So then, as we approach that independence age, again, we learn to be resilient, we learn to be strong. We need to be able to create our own situations and go through our cycles of coping based on what we feel is right for us, and then try, and we're sussing out what's been taught to us and what we feel. So it really does create this kind of ripple. And this, do I listen to the old patterns? What is this? And this is where our self acceptance is really formed, and where we learn, wow, this is what this feels like to me whenever I'm honoring myself. And this is what it feels like to me whenever I'm dishonoring myself. If we have the great guides in place and understanding people in our life to help us navigate those waters in a healthy way, this is a very powerful moment. If we don't, then the fracture occurs. So you have this place of, it's kind of like a good angel, bad angel kind of thing, and you run that loop. So again, in the background, here is this loop playing out of what we've been taught, what we've been shown, or what we've lack thereof happening. We have our resilience piece here, and our own self activation and coping skills. So this is going over here, this loop is playing, then we have this, and so we get into this pattern of questioning what is right and what is wrong. And then we come to the point where we're learning from the world what is right and what is wrong. And we start to gather the pieces in the information, and this confusion is happening. So this confusion is happening in our brain. Our body's also in this place because it is feeling, it is experiencing, and then we get the ripples. So you will have, you'll be humming along in life, and you'll get a negative experience, and you'll get this ripple. And then your fighter will kick in, and it'll go over top of the ripple, and it'll teach you how to cope. And then you find this way, whether good or bad. If this ever happens again, I can do this. And then you keep going on the ripple. And every time you experience in that, it just keeps on going like that. What we find as you go along in these states is that, well, not even as you go along, when this happens, it's exhausting afterwards, because it's a whole body experience to this whole processing mechanism. So what you usually find is that after you've gone through a really, really intense situation, and your fighter has kicked into basically kind of apply the coping medicine that needs to happen, that you become extremely exhausted. You retract from the world if this is not, a healthy way and you're doing things. You might enter into that stage where I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I'm such a failure because I did this. Oh my God, my kids are going to hate me because I yelled and screamed at them today. My husband's going to get upset with me. I'm not saying this, Brad McIntyre, to you. I'm just examples. My husband or my wife is going to get upset with me because I've let them down again. So you see how this loop happens. And so every time we have this experience, a new messages put into this loop. So then we carry on and we carry on, and we're constantly in this, and we find ourselves going through all these experiences and experiencing all these different levels of loops, which is exhausting. So we become conditioned to run ahead on the edge, or looking for ways to outrun the situation. And then we find ourselves burnt out. We find ourselves in situations of abusive relationships, or toxic relationships. Hi, Gertrude. We find ourselves in situations where we're constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. And we find ourselves in situations where we're always looking for that next thing to get us through. So it almost becomes like a drug because you're reaching for that high to get that experience that you're longing for. But those loops are playing out and it just keeps going and it keeps building. So what I do with people is help them to break down those loops, to identify why you are feeling the way that you're feeling and what the truth is around that and how it is serving you or how it is holding you back. And we investigate where the loop started. In investigating where the loop started, we are literally looking at it in a safe and secure environment with truthful eyes, not the lenses that we all have that help us to get through in times of needs, in times of good, bad, all those things. We're looking at the situation in a very clear, heart-centered space. And then we become the observer. So people say to me, I'm in the middle of an anxiety, panic attack, or I'm overwhelmed. I can't handle the stress anymore. I'm going to snap. So whether they are, dealing with anger, frustration, or sadness and despair, or just complete and utter body overwhelm. We're at this point because we've taxed out our body so much from all of this continuous looping. So we want to get to the root of it by calming that situation down, by making the shift, by changing the loop little pieces at a time. So to do this, I will work with people and we'll do a variation of many different things. We will do some exercises, some cognitive behavioral therapy exercises. We will do some really life and soul awareness stuff to get to the truth of the matter, because in most cases what I find is that people come to me and say, well, I'm doing XYZ because RST has done this to me. Well, okay, so RST did that to you and this gives you this reaction over here. But was RST really the cause, or did it turn out that I can't do my alphabet now, but you get what I'm saying. Does it turn out that this person over here was actually, or this situation was actually the cause that triggered this response in me from an old previous loop that was similar to this experience? So the whole circle just keeps going. So we want to get to the point of what is the root? What are the symptoms? How do we branch out, clear, and clean up, and then root in new stuff? It's not a scary place to do this. I remember whenever I was in the middle of my stuff, I think the biggest obstacles I ever faced was my own obstacles, my own resistance of changing something that I knew, because I knew that I could cope with this stuff. It was rough, it was painful, and it was totally ridiculous that I spent so many years in those places, but it was the beast that I knew. And I knew I could handle it because I'd done it all before and I built this loop of. So not healthy at all, made me completely and utterly sick. And now looking back, I know that had I just looked at the situation with a little more intention to be an observer and be in acceptance of the fact that I was freaking awesome. To have gone through all of the stuff that had wounded me took a lot of courage. It took a lot of strength and determination. and that I needed to be very proud of that person, that child, that young adult that had gotten me to here, instead of being ashamed of that person, frustrated with that person, angry with that person, disappointed with that person. Because in my eyes, I mean, the whole world was looking at me like that. Here I was, a big old failure. My body doesn't work anymore. My relationships don't work anymore. My finances don't work. My life doesn't work. What's going on? So I'd been in this loop of. So it was really important for me to change that loop one step at a time. And I was very grateful to have a great support around me, and a therapist that was able to help me, and several coaching opportunities that opened up my eyes to brand new stuff. So often we start our days with, I should be doing this. I should be this. I should be more. I should be all that stuff. What if we actually started our days with, today I could be completely and utterly at peace. Today, I could be finding the best work for me. Today, I could be completely and utterly free of all of the pain and the weight of the emotional stuff I'm carrying. Today, I am choosing to be my own unique, positive, powerful, loving self. Today, I love me. So, by changing the dialogue one bit at a time, it was able to help me cancel out that critter brain that was always on loop of, oh, you're not enough. Oh, you should have done this. Oh, this, oh, this, oh, this, oh, this. This is going to happen because you did this, blah, 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 blah. So I invite you today to do something that is extremely hard for a lot of people. But what we need to do is to, whenever we're in these situations where the beast is going crazy, we need to come back to the rational parts of ourselves and find that place, that space that we can start creating a new shift and a new pattern. So if you find yourself in a place or space where you're overwhelmed, you're exhausted, you are struggling, and you're entering into that really negative self-talk loop, I want you to take some breaths. 3 really nice breaths. And you always see me do this on here, but I'm going to do a couple of them with you. So an inhale through the nose, and a hold, and an exhale, maybe a little bit longer than your inhale. Comfortably find your pace, whatever that looks like, and just know that by taking these breaths in, you are actually taking the air down into your belly, and you're telling that logical part of your brain that we got this, that we can do this, it's okay. And then you can start with the I am. I am safe. Remember, this was one of the things I used to say all the time. I am safe and all is well in my world. And I would just repeat it. And I would repeat it like a mad woman in the middle of my crisis. But it was enough for me to break the loop so that I could get out of what was happening. Have you ever found yourself looking in the mirror? A lot of people don't like to do this. I hated it. I'm not extremely fond of it right now. But I challenge you today to take a look inside of the mirror, wherever you are, and just look into the eyes of the person, the beautiful person that's looking back at you. And I want you to try and see 3 loving, caring things inside your eyes while you're viewing yourself that is positive and kind. And I want those to be your 3 things of positivity today. So Maybe in your eyes, you're looking at the dialogue, you're looking in there and you can have a dialogue with yourself. You know, Heather, I'm really, really happy that. You know, Heather, I'm really proud of you for doing that. You know, Heather, I'm really, really, and you get the picture. I just want you to have a conversation and find some loving things, some things that can really lift your soul and your spirit, and just acknowledge them by looking in the mirror. The other thing that we're going to do today is I'm going to, because whenever we're working with people, the importance here is that we want to connect to our truths. And looking in the mirror is a helpful way to do that, because you can look in the mirror and you can find your truths. I want you to take some time over this next week and just observe how you conversate with yourself. What your world looks like, what's happening in your world, how you're showing up. What is the truth in your world right now? Are you accepting your feelings, your emotions, your experiences? Are you resisting? What does that look like? So becoming the observer instead of the critical beast, we want to take a look at how and why, so we can get to know, get a snapshot of how you can identify when you're heading down a slippery slope into a triggering experience, an overwhelm experience, or an overload. Or you can identify the pieces in you that are actually, in essence, self-sabotaging yourself and taking you to that place where you're not being true and faithful to yourself, and you are not honoring the highest version that you could possibly be. The other thing I want you to do is get out and do a little walk. Get some movement happening outside in a safe and controlled environment that is safe for you. And then reach for some healthy foods that will fuel your body, not put you into an even higher state of overwhelm, a higher state of anxiety, because, you know, foods definitely contribute to that too. If you are on a sugar roller coaster, you're going to feel more and more of the symptoms, which trigger the responses, which trigger the critter brain, which sends you into this loop of stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. None of that's good for our body. We gain weight whenever we're in this state. We tax our organs, we tax our whole body system, and it's not good to continue, as we've talked about, being in that loop of constant running ahead and trying to get to the next thing to avoid what's happening. So being present right here in the moment allows us the space, the truth, the clarity, and the opportunity to rise up, to shift, and to change. So I'm going to do a little meditation. And this meditation, again, is just about imagery to support the awareness and feelings of your body. So I'm going to tag this in here. And then if anybody wants to do it, they can certainly do it afterwards, or you can do it here with me. So at 29 minutes, we're going to do the meditation for, okay, maybe 29. See, I told you Facebook was giving me the gears. Not very happy with Facebook today. It's actually quite, yep, it's not working. Oh, yeah. So 29:50, we're going to start the meditation, okay? So I want you to just get comfortable wherever you are, whether you're sitting down, lying down, in your comfortable, safe space. And what we're going to do today is just find the imagery for the awareness of feelings, the opportunity to be the observer of things. And shifting your weight and your body so that you're comfortable and you can fully feel supported, arranging it so that your head, your neck, and your spine are completely and utterly straight. And with each in-breath being rich and full, and exhaling comfortably and fully, breathing deep into the belly, and then breathing out. Breathing deep into the belly and out. And as you turn your attention inward, checking in to see how it feels inside of your body. Just a gentle, curious inventory of how you are just in this moment. And you might sense your energy level, or sense a certain mood, or have a feeling about your sense of well-being at this moment. As you continue to breathe deeply and easily, interested and curious, but detached and neutral. Noticing the places inside your body where you might feel a tightness, you might feel tense or sore, and where you might feel relaxed and open. So you're just letting your awareness travel inside of your body. And you might start with your head, noticing how it feels inside your head, whether it seems tight or cluttered, or comfortable or open, or nothing in particular at all. And you're just aware of what is there, not trying to make it different or change it in any way, just noticing, neutral and detached, and moving your awareness into your neck and shoulders, curious about how it feels inside of your neck and across your shoulders, and down into your chest and into your heart, continuing to breathe deeply and easily as you sense how it feels all around and through your heart. Noticing any heaviness or tightness with friendly but detached interest. No praise, no blame, just doing this simple inventory and checking to see how your whole chest feels. Moving your awareness around to your back, traveling the entire length of your back, moving around to your belly, looking to see what, if anything, you have feelings in your abdomen. Noticing sensations in your belly, and continuing to breathe deeply and easily. And moving your awareness down into your bottom, seeing how it feels along your whole pelvic floor and down into your legs, noticing how it feels inside your thighs and your knees and your calves, all the way down to the feet and the very tips of your toes. Sending your breath into the very center of your body, wherever you sense that to be, and breathing out. And breathing in again, deep into the very center of your body, letting the energy of the breath disperse to whatever and wherever it's needed. Exhaling fully and easily. And you know that you can ask your body to show you what it's feeling, leaving space for it to answer as you continue to breathe in and out. Open and steady as you ask your body to show you where your feelings are held. So you're just letting the intelligence of the body show you what needs showing right now. Clearing away a space and letting the wisdom of the body reveal itself. because it might show you a place that's denser and heavier than the rest. Or perhaps a soft sadness around the heart, or a place that's sharp with pain, or maybe a weary feeling in your belly. Or perhaps you find the clench of anger in your legs, and whatever a feeling is held, you can just let it begin to reveal itself. However subtle and elusive, knowing that you can be curious, neutral, and detached, the explorer of your own inner terrain. And with another deep, full breath, ready to take a closer look at this feeling or this mix of feelings, and breathing out fully and easily, going to wherever it sits, curious about its texture and its size, its weight and feel. So you're just granting yourself the space to explore, interested in its nature, its intensity, whatever colors it might have, or sounds, or tastes, or smells, so that you're moving your awareness all around and through it to whatever degree that feels right, in your own way, in your own time, and asking the body to continue to show you whatever you need to know about this, trusting it to reveal what is needed in its own time as you continue to breathe deeply and easily all around and through this feeling, not trying to change it or fix it, just noticing what it is, what's there. Able to trust this process of connecting more deeply with yourself. And so giving yourself all the space and the time that you need to let the energy of these feelings reveal themselves and begin to shift and move inside of you at their own accord. And if your mind wants to assess or judge, just turning your attention back to the feeling in your body, knowing there will be a time when all of this will make sense, and it does not have to be now, that now is just for experiencing what is. And so take whatever time you need, continuing to breathe deeply and easily, saluting your own courage and your own capacity for self-awareness. And whenever you're ready, coming back into the room gently and with soft eyes, knowing in a deep place that you're better for this. And so you are. It's one of my favorites that I used to use whenever I was just needing to be reminded to connect to my own person, my own soul, and my own feelings. Because when we're feeling, we're healing. I know that sounds really cliche, but it's so true. I hope that you have an amazing Monday. If you are interested in doing any one-on-one coaching with me to work through anything that's happening in your world, I am here. You can PM me or email me directly. You can go to the website at www.thechroniclesofmommamac.com and book a client session on there. This week is a pretty important week for me here at the Chronicles of Momma Mac. As you have probably already seen across social media, I have been the chairperson on two mental health and addiction partnerships with Defeat Depression. Defeat Depression is a national event that is happening this Saturday, May 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be including a link to that event that you can all join. We have so many amazing things planned for this event. We were supposed to have been doing a walk nationally across the board to raise funds for depression and mood disorder and mental health. Because of the COVID experience, we have not been able to do that, but we have all been participating and doing our own Defeat Depression Challenge to raise the funds and do a walk safely for ourselves. I have two organizations that are benefiting from people sponsoring my cause, Rising Up with Momma Mac, inside of the Defeat Depression website. Number one, so both of them are coming back to Collingwood because in Barrie, we are actually partnered with the RVH Youth and Mental Health Unit out of the hospital that supports the care and support to children in crisis and youth all across the area, the Simcoe Muskoka area. So those funds come in here. They have outreach programs that come right in here to town to help children that are at risk so that we can stop the patterns that are happening. We can change the conversation and get rid of the stigma around mental health. In Collingwood, my efforts, if you wanted to support at that link there, you can do that as well. And our funds are going back to the peer support services for mental health and addictions, formerly known as CSP, the Consumer Survivor Project here in town. Again, this funding goes back to the community. It supports the people that are here in the town that I live. And the area that I live to really give them that help, that need, and that support to get through the challenges that they're facing. You all know why I do it, because number one, I've been there, done that. And number two, we just have to come together as a community to do that. So it's going to be lots of posts, lots of opportunities to join the link. Nationally, we have so many people joining us, so many fun things, so many conversations, and just a way to rise up, to change the conversation, to celebrate the successes, and to commit to being one community that is aware and ready to make a difference. So you're going to see me a lot more socially, but that's just because I'm going to do a push. If you can help me, definitely find the link on my page and support me. I appreciate everything that you do in ways. If you can't do it financially, share it to a friend, share it to an organization with a heads up of check this out. I appreciate you. I love you all for hanging with me. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and a great week. And remember that you are so freaking special and beautiful, whether you are struggling, whether you are challenged, or whether you're just feeling depleted. Know that you're beautiful just the way you are. You should be so proud of all of the accomplishments that you've made, and that there is power waiting to rise up inside of you. And I can't wait to see it and to experience it. And yeah, my heart's full. So have a great Monday. Much love to you. This is Mental Health Mondays with Coach Heather, aka Momma Mac. See you next week. And Wednesday we have meditation Wednesday happening as well at 10:30 a.m. Right here on Facebook, and then again at 11 on Instagram. Like my pages, share my stuff. I appreciate it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.